Hello everyone, this is Lolly. Today I want to share this project that I have made with Kraft-Tex. Kraft-Tex is a paper product that washes, cuts, and sews like fabric and begins to look like faux leather as it softens and wears. So you can see this one has a leather look to it. This one has been pre-washed, and they have it that is not pre-washed as well, and it's very smooth, which I have used in most of my Kraft-Tex projects, which you can see if you check the link down below. I'll give you the whole playlist. I'm so excited to share with you this project that I made. I designed this folio, and you can see that I have used some clear vinyl here to make this window in this folio flap. As you can see, you can die cut them. And I have glued trim here. I have an eyelet here. This is what the unwashed Kraft-Tex looks like. You can see I just glued in a pocket here. And then this is the standard journal inserts that they sell at Hobby Lobby. And then I have a pocket here. So I am just absolutely thrilled with this project that I created, and I would like to share with you how to make it, so stay tuned. We are going to be using the denim Kraft-Tex this time to make the exact same journal. Okay, let's get going and get our Kraft-Tex measured and cut. Alright, so when I cut my Kraft-Tex, I have a designated rotary blade that I'm using for it. So the main component is this, which is your actual journal like that. And this dimensions, all the heights will be 8 3/4 inches tall. So all of it will. This is 8 3/4 by 13.5 inches wide. Okay, and then we need pockets. So we have the first pocket. This is pocket number 1, which will go here. And that one is 8 3/4 by 3.5. Then we have the pocket number 2, which is what actually the journal slides, your insert slides into, 8 3/4 by 3 7/8. And then we have the liner right here, which is what you're seeing when we cut that hole out. And this is the unwashed Kraft-Tex. You can use whatever you want. I like the smoothness of it showing through on the other side. And this is also the same size as this, which is 8 3/4 by 3 7/8. And then one more piece, which is actually cardstock. And I'm using this for a template. It matches the dimensions of this, which is 8 3/4 by 3 7/8. So I am giving you all those measurements down below again, so please don't panic about it, and they'll also be on my blog. So what you want to do with this cardstock is use it to make the hole that we have in the folio right here. That's what the template is for. So let me give you the dimensions on that. I'm using a scoreboard. You can use a ruler and something sort of sharp but not cutting. All right. So with it in this way, this one is actually 4 inches. It really does, the width is not as important on this one as the height. Make sure you keep that at 8 3/4. The first thing I want to do is score a 1/4 inch here, and all this is just marking so I know where to do my cutting. The next one I want 1 3/8 inch, so find 1 1/2 and go 1 notch to the left. Then I want 3 3/8, so find 3 1/2 and 1 notch to the left. So I'm going to turn this, I'm going to rotate it to the right a 1/4 turn so that the one line here with the 1/4 inch is at the top. And I'm just going to cross that line there at 4 3/8. So find 4 1/2 and move 1 to the left here and just cross that. That's just going to tell me where I'm going to do my hole punching for the eyelet. Okay, so now I'm going to score at 1 1/4 and again at 7 1/4. I'm going to poke a hole right here, and this again is where I'm going to put my eyelet, but this helps me to remember what that is for. So now we have this rectangle right here, and we are going to cut that out. Let me get that light to shine on it. We're going to cut that out, and that is going to be a template for our window. And I will probably just use a craft blade and a ruler And you can use this for one of your other craft projects. So now I have this template, and the other thing that I want to do is to go ahead and round all my corners, because this really helps me to keep focused on where these pieces go. Again, for a visual, I want to show you, this is the template for the front flap here. Giving myself room for adding some trim there. But I want to round these two corners here as a reminder where that goes. I'm using the corner chomper from Crocodile, and I'm using the 1/4 inch. And I'm just doing those outside corners. Now, this, which is my liner on the other side, is also going to have those two corners chomped. I'm going to come on the inside here, and just by way of reminder, this first pocket here, which is the skinnier of the two, this one, needs two corners chomped. This pocket does not need any corners chomped. But this, the entire cover, needs the outer corners chomped. I want to work on these stars right here, and I'm going to use scraps in different bright colors. And I want to use one of my metal craft dies to cut out those stars. I'm going to use the Mini Evolution Advanced die cutting machine here because it's nice and small and you can see what I'm doing. I have the C plate and the B plate. I am going to lay the die here. So, perfect. I love this color of Kraft-Tex. They have different colors coming out this year. And so the denim is the March color. This is one of the upcoming colors, and I am excited about the project that I will have coming up using this. Okay, let's get this put away. And now you'll see why I made this template. This is going to help me to line up my stars. So we have the two rounded corners. We're going to line those up. Now I'm noticing that I have a slightly different size here. One of these I used a paper trimmer on, and one I used my cutting mat, and I have a slightly difference of sizes here. And now all I have to do is glue these on there in the order that I want them on. Doesn't matter which is at top. I think I like this better, and I'm going to use Fabri-Tac. Although this is technically paper to paper, I'm still going to use the Fabri-Tac. This has a really good hold. Fabri-Fix is very similar. It depends on what part of the store they sell it in. Fabri-Fix is sold in the paper crafting area of your store, and Fabri-Tac is sold in the fabric area. Fabri-Fix reportedly has slightly more higher water base to it. Keep in mind, too, that your middle color won't be as visible because of the wrapping of your ribbon around there, your tie. So now I know that that is perfectly spaced for my window. There we go. Now you can put whatever embellishments you want. I used something from Dress My Craft, and they're itty bitty tiny like beads with no holes, like seed beads almost, but with no holes. And I glued those on there. I don't want anything too thick, such as a button, for instance, because I just didn't want it to puff up my vinyl so much, but it is totally up to you. If you embellish these at all, you don't have to. But I picked these up from Creativation, and I just noticed the gold, the purple, and I don't have a turquoise, but this is a really good color for that. So I thought that these look really well with that. They're varying sizes, which I really thought was very interesting. So I have this little plastic tray that used to have some food in it. Kind of round this back out. I'm going to be using Gem Tack today. It's a permanent glue. I'm just going to squeeze kind of a circular area here, and I'm smashing it down flat because I don't want it to be too thick. Now this, it says for perfect cure would be 24 hours. I'm going to let it set for about 20 minutes once I get this on there, and that way I can move on to the next one. I'm just going to cover it up, and I do mean cover. I'm going to let that set for about 20 minutes before I come back in and dump off the excess and move on to the next one. So before I let go of this and have it spring up and knock these little beads all over the place, I'm just going to cover that up right here to make sure it doesn't go flying like that. Okay, we will come back. Okay, so let's remove this. And then, see, I'm holding this down again so it doesn't spring up and send these little beads flying. And I will show you this. Isn't that cute? I will do the other stars off camera. All right, so while that is curing, I'm going to let that do that overnight. I can do a couple more things. One is to cut out this vinyl. I ordered mine as yardage on Amazon. You can get it from your fabric store. You can use scraps of some vinyl projects or products you have at home, like sometimes if you buy a blanket, it comes in like a vinyl pouch. You can use that. So I cut mine at 3 by 7. And let's see, let's also do this. And let's get our hole cut out in the front flap here. And so we want to open it up and use our template here. Remember the rounded corners? I'm going to line that up. So I am going to use quilting clips or wonder clips or sewing clips or whatever you want to call these. And you do want to use clips when getting ready to sew instead of using straight pins, because straight pins will leave holes. You can also use these and then on your project. So I'm working on the inside here, and I'm going to trace this out. Then use my craft blade and my razor, my craft blade and my ruler to cut that out. You could also just cut a hole and then take scissors and cut this out with scissors, but I figured if I do it this way, then I will have this nice piece of Kraft-Tex that I can reuse. Okay, so like I said, now we have this piece here which can be used in another project. All right, now I want to secure this on the inside, but since this is so floppy, and it's going to be hard just to pin it or clip it because this goes so far in, that one of the things I did last time was I used a tape runner and went around this to hold it in place. But I went all the way around the edge, the very close to the edge here, so that I'm not interfering with my stitch lines. Oops, that's the end of that one. And now what I want to do is hold this down, because as you can see, I'm dealing with the fact that it's curling up. If you have those weights, you can put weights on it to hold it down. And now I just kind of want to center it on there. So now I'm going to take this to my machine and I'm going to top stitch really close to the edge all the way around. And I have an off-white thread. You can use whatever color thread you want. A nice contrasting thread would be great. And I have it on the longest stitch setting that I have on my machine, which is a very, very old machine. You could use a dedicated needle for your Kraft-Tex projects. It's totally up to you. And like magic, it is stitched. Isn't that fun? Okay, and now we can get these other pockets ready to go in. So we have, again, we have the one that's going to hold our journal. That's the pocket number 2, and we have pocket number 1. So I'm going to turn this over. This is pocket number 1. It is the narrow one. And you can double check to make sure you have the right one. But before I do this, I want to get like a thumb notch right here. And so what I'm going to do is fold this in half. Make sure the 2 rounded corners are on the outside. Fold this in half and just kind of pinch right there where the midway is. Slide this in, center it, and not go any farther than halfway. I like to do a little less than half. And now I have that little notch right there. So we're going to clip this, and again, make sure we clip it using the Wonder Clips instead of pinning it. And then we need to ascertain where to sew this one in. So I think it's helpful to take it here and score it at 4 3/8. Find 4 1/2 and go over to the left 1 notch. Actually, you usually like to do this on the other side. I didn't do that. Let's do it on this side. This will make it fold so much easier. Get that fold line there and give it a good burnish. This is the Ergo Bone Folder. Love it. So now we see where this is going to fold. We can put this not on that fold, but move it over a pinch, like 1/8 of an inch or so. All right, and this has actually been 24 hours or overnight since this has been curing, so I can turn this around and make sure I have the rounded corners matching, and I can also clip this. I know that sometimes I refer to it as pinning, but it is obviously not pinning, it's clipping. I'm going to turn this over and make sure we've got this lined up. It's perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take this to my machine. I'm going to top stitch the far right edge of pocket number 2 and the far left edge of this flap reinforcement. Once I've done that, then I can just top stitch completely around this rectangle and the whole cover will be assembled. Okay, all that stitching is done. So I did what I said. I top stitched the far right side of that pocket, the far left of here, and then I top stitched all the way around, so now all the pockets are connected. I'm going to bring this in here because we need to score here. It just kind of helps it to get a really pretty look here. We're scoring at 4 1/2, and I will again use the Ergo Bone Folder. All right, so now we have that, but we need our hole and any embellishments that we're going to do. And so remember how we made that template here? And I have the little hole in here, so I'm just going to use a paper piercing tool or a craft pick and poking right where I had that hole measured. Alrighty. Now I can use the Crop-A-Dial. Now this is my hole punch and eyelet setter, and it does have 2 sizes on it. I am going to use the larger of the 2 sizes. Okay, and let's pick out an eyelet. Now I have these, which used to be from Stampin' Up. I don't know if they carry these floral ones anymore, but you can see some really pretty colors here. There's this lovely lavender, which would be really cute. The red, the yellow, and the pink. I think I will go with the yellow. Now this is already set, and that is done. Now all we need to do is to get whatever trim we want there. And I have 2 trims that I want to use this time. Okay, I'm going to use this trim that I got from Hobby Lobby, 100% cotton trim. Then I have this brightly colored trim that I want to add. I think I'm going to bring this back over a little bit like this. And then I want to bring this trim and possibly lay it like right here or so. I just think that is going to be so cute. Okay, so let's get our Fabri-Tac out. Now I can go under here and tack this down. I'm going to put the excess hanging off the edges because this wants to unravel, and then I will use like fray check or something to get it to stop unraveling. Okay. Now I was going for a really bright like 60s, 70s vibe with this because it was denim. I just thought that would be so fun, and I really love how it's turning out. So again, I'm going to let that set up, and then I will trim this off and use fray check to stop it from unraveling. So the only thing else we need for this is our ribbon that we're going to put through that, and our journal. And I have Girl You Got This, which also has a nice denim feel. So now we need to get our closure going here. Okay, so I pressed this so that it would be not quite so crinkly. I folded it in half. So there we have it. Pocket here, our notebook. And if you would like to have a pocket, if you would like to have your pocket on the inside here, I'll show you what I used. These are adhesive square label pockets, and they sell these at Target, 20 of them for $3 around the time that the back to school supplies go on. So you can see from this one how large that is. It's this size right here, and it works really well with this material to put it on the Kraft-Tex. So that's the project. Thank you for watching. It has been a delight working with the Kraft-Tex, and I just think you will enjoy working with this product, and I think these are so adorable and so functional.